Who is Christopher Wright? Christopher Wright is a business leader and a best-selling author. He wants to make sure that everyone in Macnamara can reach their full potential. Christopher has had a long and successful career in information technology, having built a number of businesses both as a founder and as a leader. At age 19, Christopher joined IBM working as a technician and field engineer. In 1992, he joined the new IT company Interactive and eventually became the managing director. Under Christopher's leadership, the company delivered 19 consecutive years of business growth and became the largest privately owned IT company in Australia and New Zealand. Christopher founded Auskelp in 2020 to build Australia's first environmentally sustainable commercial seaweed farm. He is working with the Auskelp team to get this new and innovative business off the ground. Christopher is also the best-selling author of 3 historical fiction novels, The Human Frequency, The First Boxer, and The Inca Courses. He wrote The Human Frequency as a hobby and decided to self-publish after being rejected by every publisher in Australia. Despite the final barriers, all 3 books have been published internationally in multiple languages and also in audiobooks. Christopher is a loving husband and father to 3 teenage children. Christopher wants to use his skills and experience as a part of Scott Morrison's team to ensure the next generation of Australia have opportunity to reach their full potential. Renowned for its restaurants and live entertainment, Macnamara has electric shopping strip, coffee shop, Bastion markets, and world-renowned art center. Here, home to the South Melbourne Market and Art Center, the Jewish Museum, to National Gallery, and the iconic Shrine of Remembrance. We encompass the Royal Botanic Garden and the life-giving Alfred Hospital. We host the Formula One Grand Prix and Albert Park Lake, and we are home to the Electric St Kilda Precision and Luna Park.
Здравствуйте, дорогие друзья! Сегодня мы встречаемся с кандидатом от Macnamara Christopher Wright. Человек, который решил изменить немножко строение политической жизни Австралии, атлист, возможно, в Мельбурне, и представить ваши интересы на австралийском уровне. Кристофер – человек, который прошел в жизни очень много. У него было много разных бизнесов, особенно большой бизнес у него. Он сам произвел это IT, одна из 500 компаний в Австралии, и добился больших успехов на этом бизнесе. Кристофер не говорит по-русски, но он понимает очень хорошо. Поэтому я бы хотел вас, чтобы вы послушали полиси, которые Крис хочет ввести в жизнь. Christopher Wright.
Здравствуйте.
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 Christopher, can you please, describe who you are, what you done it, and what you want to do?
Thank you, Alex. It's a pleasure to be here at the War Memorial here in Caulfield. I originally, my father was a diplomat, and so I lived in 7 different countries on 6 different continents and went to 13 different schools growing up. So I had a very broad upbringing and a lot of turmoil in my life, but always very proud to be an Australian, and made me realise what a great country Australia is. And for the last 25 years I've been working in IT, and started in a very small business, and built that very small business competing against some of the biggest IT companies in the world. And we grew it to be the largest privately owned IT company. And until 2 years ago, I decided it was time to move on and do different things and spend more time with my family. And now I'm looking at Australian politics, and I'm thinking politics has a big effect on our lives, and more so now than ever before. We're living in very extraordinary times. Yes, I think you've got to go back to 1917, 1918 to the Spanish flu, and with lockdowns and our freedom being affected, and I feel like there's a time where we need some politicians who have more experience.
Exactly right. That's why you decided to go to politics.
Yes.
That's why you want to do something in the and for people who you're going to represent. All right, and it's not many people like yourself coming to politics after business, after writing 4 books, raising kids, particularly have 3 kids.
3 kids. That was much harder than the business and the books.
And how are you gonna, compare together kids, books, politics? It's a big task you take on yourself.
Well, I think if you're going to be in politics, I think what you want to have is great life experience, because in the end, the decisions that politicians make affect all of us, sometimes for the good and sometimes for the not so good. And when I look at Australia now compared to 25 years ago, when I dropped out of university and I tried to start a business, and I look at the conditions now, I don't know that I'd be able to achieve what I achieved now compared to before, because the regulations and the government oversight, I think the conditions aren't the same, and I think it becomes more difficult. And so for my kids and for your kids, I'm hoping that what we can do is maybe even the playing field, give a little more opportunity, a little more focus on Australian jobs, more focus on doing good things for the environment. I'm hoping we can do more than we do now.
Yeah, very, very good. Can you planning what is your policies?
Well,
because people probably want to know what the policies, what you want to do it for them, all right, and how are you going to do it if they're going to support you?
Yeah. Well, first I think before you go to policies, you've got to go to what are the values of the political party. And for me, the Liberal values are great values. They believe in Australia, they believe in Australians, they believe in our future. They believe in equal opportunity, they believe in looking after people that can't look after themselves. All of those things, for me, are what's most important about being an Australian and being a Liberal. But then you say, well, what are my policies for Macnamara? I think ultimately this electorate cares about climate, and it cares about climate action, and we want to make sure that we've got a world that's good for all of our kids.
Correct.
They care about keeping jobs here in Australia and not pushing jobs to Asia. Because it's cheaper, because it's easier. We need to even the playing field. We need jobs here for our kids in Australia. And I think Australians care about keeping taxes low and keeping the cost of living under control. So when I think about, well, what are we trying to do here? These challenges are massive challenges. But what we need is politicians who care more about what's popular and do more about what's right for Australia, conviction politicians. And so that's why I'm doing it. This isn't my career being a politician. I'm going into politics because I believe that I can contribute and I can do a good thing for everyone, for your kids and for mine.
Yes, of course. That's one. It's a very, very, tough question. Particularly now, the time. It's not, right. What it means right. It's never right time. But the situation in the world, you have a lot of uncertain positions, and it's good to have a person who know business, who know knowledge in writing, who know knowledge in kids and the family, and to lift it up a business like you done it. It's why it will be much easier to looking after the people of Macnamara than any other contendant. So if I will just a little bit explain to Russian, because a lot of people probably my age don't speak very good English.
Please,
But the young
please.
generation, it's a young generation already, speak fantastic, just because this is their own language. Дорогие друзья, вы сейчас прослушали полиси, который Кристофер представляет в нашем регионе. И мы были бы очень благодарны, если Кристофер, конечно, выиграет, но без вашей участи, без вашей помощи мы не сможем это сделать. Я приехал в Австралию 42 года тому назад, и с тех пор я поддерживаю либералов, хотя я никогда не участвовал здесь в политической жизни. Но Кристофер дал мне этот шанс, потому что я вижу, что это человек, который достоин и может сделать невозможное то, что нельзя было сделать раньше. Do you like to say something in Russian?
My Russian's not so good, but I will say this, that people say, what's the biggest business in Australia? And most people would say, well, BHP is the biggest business in Australia because it has the biggest turnover. But the biggest business is actually the Australian government. It employs more people than any other business.
Right.
When you look at federal, you look at state, and you look at local government, 2.7 million people work for government. It's the biggest business there is here, and all I want is for us to run that government well. The minimum amount of people required, the maximum amount of output from the government. We need to do better with the biggest business in Australia, and that's government.
Thank you very much, Chris. Большое спасибо за то, что вы приняли участие в канале 31. Спасибо всем, кто принял участие в этом. И мы поблагодарим Криса. И я думаю, что мы выиграем. Мы победим. We gonna to win.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure, Alex.
Много песен было спето про водочку, чтоб залить, чтоб запить, чтоб запеть, чтобы весело стало, чтобы дрожь пробирала, чтобы подлость хороших друзей позабыть. Пьем мы водочку помногу, пьем мы водочку немного, пьем мы просто так, пьем мы просто так. Пьем по счастью и несчастью, пьем мы сами и с друзьями.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Hopefully the people convert into,
Yeah.
Now we have
we have to push through, get into
So
the number one.
do you speak Russian?
I do, yeah.
Been there a few times.
Yeah. So they do a fantastic job.
Yes.
But then I've got cameras following around all the time, and so. But the beauty is we get to wear the mask, so no one knows.
Exactly. It's an opportunity.
Well, it's true, isn't it? You do your mascara and just...
Sunny days and my glasses, you know.
Sorry, I'm interrupting your bar. Yes. For the Liberal Party, yeah.
Нам ведь хочется напиться, только не
So I'm Elwood, all the way through Port Melbourne, so Middle Park, still the Middle Park, Albert Park, and then all the way to Tuck Road, about half of the South Yarra, this is the part that's on the main side,
жизнь
all the Silver
тоскливая.
Road, and then all of
И все праздники.
out Glen Company Road, all the way to Caulfield, including Caulfield Racecourse, all the way through here. So which is really
Все
our heart.
девочки
Yeah. Where we're not strong is
красивые.
yeah. Yeah.
Пьем мы водочку помногу, пьем мы водочку немного, пьем мы просто так,
Yeah.
Excuse me, people. You're slowly people. The pH is running as strong as never.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna do more refinement than anyone else. So
That's the beginning of your brain.
yeah.
Some people forgotten about it.
Yeah.
But
пьем из рюмок,
Yeah.
из стаканов,
Yeah.
пьем мы из консервных банок, а нам все равно.
You and I would need to sit down and have a drink. Do you drink? Yeah, okay. I like that. And your daughter as well. So good. Lovely. Thank you, Fred.
My understanding is this used to be an office block that
Right.
they then converted and, as I said, extended out to the museum.
You would never even know that this was here from the street. It's just
Yes. Yeah. So normally our temporary exhibition goes in these spaces here.
Right,
They can be
okay.
closed off and locked up. We have some more so our schools programs.
yeah.
So
But you do bring schools through, is that
upper primary school and all of high school levels.
right? As in public school or
Both.
Yeah.
Mainly at the moment, in my experience since I've been here, mainly private schools, but Catholic schools, Anglican schools, Islamic schools.
so St Michael's, for example, do they? Yeah, they come
St.
through
Catherine's
and
here yesterday.
right. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
Got Scopus.
Mount Scopus,
Yeah,
yep.
coming in next week. So definitely a mix of all the denominations.
Okay,
of
great.
The schools.
Great.
So I believe they do it as part of their religious education to learn
Yes.
about other religions, which is amazing.
Yep.
We also run for the last 2 years, we've run a program called Museums Together.
Yep.
So the Islamic Museum and the Jewish Museum have brought schools in from both Jewish and Islamic schools and have crossed over to teach each other the different religions and the similarities between them,
Yep.
which I think is a really fantastic thing for racial tolerance.
Yeah. No, it's amazing.
Yes.
And so an old like these books, like where did these come from? Like how
A lot of our items like that are donated by families.
right.
So in our collection, thousands and thousands, tens of
That's so beautiful. Wow. No, it's really amazing. But all this is just incredible. Like, okay, here's Australia. Oh, there you go. There's the colonisation of Australia.
tough history they've had as well, haven't they?
Jews arrived as convicts in the First Fleet. Wow.
1816.
This is, what'd you say, 86?
81.
81, right.
Yeah. And this is 1990 and 2000.
But that's because that's the fall of the Soviet Union. Yeah, so that's the wall going down. But a lot of people were leaving before then, weren't they?
We left Russia was stripped from the citizenship.
Yeah.
We don't have it.
Yeah.
All right. But when you 1990 to 2000, you will come with dual citizenship.
Yes, yeah. I mean, but all of this stuff is just, I can feel it's just amazing. So we went to Scotch College, which is where I went to school and my family all went to school. That's incredible. Oh, get rid of the
mask.
get rid of the masks.
We hope it will be soon we get rid of the mask.
I know. All day, and I need a very good meal. And I look at the food. What's this one here? What's this bottom left one down?
It's a cabbage roll.
I would be if I was Russian. I would be huge.
No, you won't. Look, it depends how much you eat. It's not that you're gonna eat all day.
Yeah,
You will eat
At least 4 times
a day.
that's exactly right. I think that's it. That's it.
With vodka, we already organized with Fred and with food you have here.
And so, do you cook all the food here, or
Yes, we got in our premises.
yes?
We actually we're moving soon to the new premises.
Whereabouts? Is this right here? Yeah. Yeah.
The people, but like on this trip, I would say it would be nice to be vegetable shop,
Like
like a groceries,
Is
more. It's then it's more traffic in here.
Yes. But and the parking and everything very good.
The parking is horrible.
Not enough parking.
Not enough parking because customers is coming from planning the same.
I go park so far down the road to be able to. So how do you fix that?
Some people just pass it through, never stop.
Yeah,
Yeah, have to fix it. It's
You don't know. We used to was thinking because before this apartment was built, we was hearing they're gonna put supermarket in it. And I was thinking, oh great, it's gonna be parking. But after you put out, it's not supermarket, it's gonna be apartment.
So when they put the apartments in, did that mean less parking in the street? Or no real difference?
Not really different.
Yeah.
It's still under. The one parking only in the hardware shop.
Yeah.
It's around the corner where 7-Eleven.
Right.
This is the nearest big parking.
Yeah.
but you can't relax my car.
But here in this suburb, you can't do nothing. Only if something gonna change the like any building gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is like it's such a pity because what you want is the convenience for people to come in, stop out the front, come in, get their food.
Yeah, but that is that's because another problem as well.
Yeah.
In the grey.
Right. The grey one, which is just there.
If make it 15 minutes parking, if the people can't stand long, they have to move.
Yeah. 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 So too short. Yeah. Piroczki.
Don't lose saliva.
Piroczki.
Пирожки, that's right.
Piroczki.
Пирожки, пирожки.
Piroczki. Piroczki. Look, piroczki. Thank you so much. Oh my.
Thank you very much.
Can we come? We'll come and visit, and then I bring my wife, and we get some Russian food, and then we're going to do Russians. Which one will you recommend for me to introduce my family to Russian food?
Blintz is very nice. We're making the different ones with the chicken, with the beef, and with the cottage in sultanas. Borscht is very nice. Which one? Alex just told you. Cabbage rolls is fantastic.
It's called
Chicken tabaka.
chicken tabaka. It's amazing with vodka. Fantastic.
Beautiful.
It goes with the garlic on the top. It's nice.
Now I know why the Russians do so well in the Olympics, because they're. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much for your hospitality.
I really appreciate your hospitality. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
we will come here. We'll put it. It's not,
Economy better.
Increase in Parliament.
We will do our very best. Thank you so much, and thank you.
very much.
It's lovely to meet you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Здравствуйте, дорогие друзья. Мне очень приятно представить вам Кристофер Райт. Это человек, который будет представлять либеральную партию в районе Макнамара. Человек, который прошел очень много, сам говорит на многих языках. Писатель, написал 4 книги, у него свой бизнес был, и он знает, что такое бизнес, и поэтому желательно, чтобы этот человек представлял нашу общину на государственном уровне. Я представляю слово Кристофер Райт.
Christopher, good evening and welcome to JA to Radio Forum. It's a very unusual situation. We normally speak Russian in the studio. However, we know that your Russian is not up to scratch yet. It's only early. It doesn't take that long, a couple of years and you'll be in business. So thank you for joining us, first of all. Alex gave you a wonderful introduction mentioning about you becoming a candidate for Liberal Party for a seat of Macnamara. As you know, a lot of members of Russian-speaking Jewish community actually live in the EU electorate. So you are going to be talking to your people, if we can say it that way. And what I'd like maybe to start is by asking you a little bit, if you can tell our audience a little bit about yourself, and then I'll ask you one of those very difficult questions. Why politics?
It's a good question. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you. And to come on J-Air. This is actually my first ever radio interview as a politician.
Wow.
So
I'm impressed.
This is a big day.
Thank you.
For me.
Thank you. I'm impressed. Thank you so much. And thank you that we became that number one. So it's brilliant.
No, it's a real pleasure. And you know, why politics is a very good starting point, because to understand why I'm doing this, first you have to understand where I've come from.
Absolutely.
And my father was an Australian diplomat,
Uh-huh.
and as a young child, I lived in 7 different countries and went to 13 different schools.
Wow.
And so Burma, Peru, Turkey, Canada, Tanzania, and the United States, and obviously in Australia, so born in Canberra. So that gave me a very good view of the world and how diverse the world is, which is obviously one of the cornerstones of this radio station.
Absolutely.
Is diversity and inclusiveness. And what I realised when I came back to Australia, and I started a business almost 30 years ago now in Macnamara in Port Melbourne, a small IT company, competing against some of the biggest companies in the world. And you think to yourself, well, this shouldn't be possible, that a little tiny Australian company could compete. But what we did was we built Australia's largest privately owned IT company, and against great opposition. And what I realised when I look at my own 3 children is the opportunities that I had 30 years ago when I went into business. I don't think those opportunities are the same today as they were back then. And so if I came out as a university dropout who'd lived all over the world, didn't have good community engagement, I don't know that I could have done what I did today. And so I think we need some politicians who maybe have some more experience with the world and with business and with life, and who've faced different challenges. And I knew that I needed to do something, and I feel we're living in really extraordinary times.
We are.
And I don't think...
Unprecedented in certain ways.
Yeah, and you know, after being 2 years of being locked up and facing COVID and all the challenges on our freedom and our ability to be able to mingle with each other and spend time and run our businesses, I feel now more than ever it's really important that values and experience come through. So why I'm here not because I want to be here, I'm here because I feel I have to be.
Look, politics is a very difficult game in best of times, and we also know, and we've been involved in, myself and Vladimir in the studio have been involved in communal work for a very long time. And it's not politics. However, there are things which definitely sometimes I like, and you work with people and you have people who are happy and not happy and satisfied with what you're doing or wanting you to do more, even though you're thinking that you do your best. However, in politics, there is one particular thing that is very, very different to lots of other, I guess, aspects of life, and that's the thing changed rapidly. Until, I don't know, 2 months ago, if we would sort of be looking at our current Prime Minister, we would be saying, look, it's 100% that we will be all having the same Prime Minister for the next term of government. The Prime Minister experienced a difficult couple of weeks, and that's politics, and that's changing, and that's ever evolving.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what you, as a candidate and somebody who will have to make a difference in order to win a seat that's been in Labor
116 years.
I was just wanting to ask Vladimir because he's incredibly good with numbers, and when I don't remember any numbers, he does. But thank you for answering that question. So 116 years.
It's probably longer from the day of federation, from 1901.
The first 2 elections were the Protectionist Party, and the Protectionist Party in some way became part of the Liberal Party.
Right.
Okay.
And so in 1905 it became a Labor seat, and it's been a Labor seat ever since. But it's changed a lot, and
dramatically changed.
Yeah.
I think yes, and I know that in the last elections it was also not a very clean cut what's going to happen, and I know that your opponent, I guess that you'll be facing now, didn't have a very easy ride. So what are you going to be trying to do differently in order to turn some of those people and see if Liberal Party can get into the seat of Macnamara.
Break the 160 year.
Yeah.
Well,
Listen, you're the first guest in J-Air when it comes to elections. You are our first guest when it comes to any elections issues this year, and we are going to have 2 elections, both federal and state. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you are breaking ice.
Well, yeah, look, this is going to be an extraordinary election.
Sure.
And, you know, first and foremost, the winning candidate should most accurately represent the electorate.
Sure.
That's the most important thing. And I then ask myself the question, well, how do you represent the electorate? And the simple answer is you've got to listen well. And then if the majority of the electorate aligns with your values, then you should win. Now, this electorate, Macnamara, is really extraordinary in Australian politics because it's pulled 3 ways really quite equally. It has a very large Liberal vote, and that Liberal vote is very much supported by the Jewish community because the Jewish community, certainly the Liberal Party is one of the great supporters of Israel and the Jewish community. And I think the values of freedom and believing in Australia and a positive attitude and equal opportunity, all those liberal values I think are very, very similar to Jewish values. But it also gets pulled in that it's got a less strong Labor support and also the Greens, a very strong Greens support. Some 1 in 4 people in our electorate vote for the Greens.
And that was the problem because in the past Labor comes to power with the help of Green.
Yes.
So if you can pull people from the Green voters and come to the Liberal, you'll succeed. But how to do that?
Well, I think fundamentally it comes down to if I can explain to people what it is I believe in, and if that agrees with what the people of Macnamara believe in, then you would hope that this 2-party preferred system will deliver a candidate that best represents everyone that is here. And you know, I am a climate action believer. I believe that there's a great opportunity in climate action, and we can debate about the cause of climate change, but ultimately we're changing to cleaner fuels. And that means that there's a real opportunity that needs to be seized upon. I think that the Liberal Party is best placed to open that opportunity up so that business leaders can bring us cleaner fuels at cheaper prices. Secondly, I believe that Australian jobs needs to be jobs for our kids. Jobs here in Australia needs to be first and foremost one of the most important things. And I know that people are concerned about taxes and cost of living. And I think we all would accept that the Liberal Party is best placed to make sure that you keep the maximum amount of money in your pocket so that you can then make choices about how it is you spend it. And you've got to keep an economy turning to make it successful. And as a business owner, I understand that more. We all understand that there are times when you've got to spend to be able to make money, to make the investments. And
of course.
And so I feel that if people truly understood Liberal values and they understood me, well, then I think we're a chance. Sure that Macnamara has the best opportunities, the best security and the best future, and I really look forward to it. And it's an absolute pleasure, Roman, to meet you and Vladimir, and thank you to Alex for bringing me here today. And I look forward to talking to you more.
Absolutely. Good luck, and I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.
All the best.
Okay. Let anyone in with food video, but it was great there, and so congratulations on you two being directors of the Holocaust Museum. And
Colleen's been involved for a very, very long time.
Yeah, all I'm worried about is I know that if I go in there once it's completed, I know that I'm going to cry a lot because I feel my emotions very close to the surface. So it's one of those things where the history is just.
I have to sidetrack for 1 minute.
Please.
I've done a graduate diploma in children's literature on sci-fi fantasy. Now, you were a writer.
Yes.
Ich hab dich